Yeah.
You can be forgiven for thinking that all the dust had settled after the last eclipse of the sun, with all the whooping of the American people when they were seeing the ring, the diamond ring effect, the NASA sending up their APEC rockets to look at the ionosphere as the whole process carried out.
Mm.
And normally that people would talk about it for a day or two, of their experiences, and that would be it. The next eclipse is in 2026, I think in August, to be visible over Europe. And normally that would be it. Unless, of course, there's a politician involved. And unfortunately, in this last eclipse, a politician got involved. And so here we go with this little story. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, she's 47 years old, representing Texas in the US Congress, sat on the House Science Committee and the House Space Committee. So, she must know quite a bit about science and space, one would have thought. Also passed through Yale University. So she should be, intelligent even. But on the day of the eclipse, she was at a school at the Booker T. Washington High School, where she held a Trust the Science party to celebrate the phenomenon of the eclipse. And she said on her Twitter account, "Today I created the opportunity to see a unique science and solar experience." Well, she was wrong on 2 points on that little phrase there. First of all, it wasn't unique because it's going to happen again in 2026. It's been happening regularly since the ancient Egyptian people learned how to write, to register the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't her that created the phenomenon. She just held a party. She just held a party to be so that she can be seen in front of a couple of hundred people.
Mm.
And as she's a politician, she has to give a speech. Of course, politicians have to. You can't let an opportunity go away without showing your electorate how bright and how experienced you are. And so she went off with a speech, and she told her audience that you have energy of the moon at night, where the moon doesn't have its own energy, but there you are, that's something else. And sometimes, she said, she went on, and sometimes you hear the word full moon, which between you and me are 2 words and not only one.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes, and she goes on, sometimes you need to take the opportunity just to come out and see a full moon, completely round, made up mainly of gases. Now, like I said, she went to Yale, so she must know her onions, And so that's she continued. She insists. She continued. She said, "That's why the question is why or how could we as humans live on the moon? The gas is such that we can do that." Well, somebody should have told Neil Armstrong, because he could have taken his helmet off and breathed in all that lunar air, and he could even, I imagine, he could do a bit of sunbathing as well while he's at it. There's a lot of
there you go. Yeah.
Sort of grainy sort of material under his feet and make a huge beach. She says, the sun is a mighty powerful heat, and it's almost impossible to go near the sun. It's almost impossible. Well, I think she might have put her fingers on the stove when it was hot when she was younger. I mean, you can do it, but it's going to hurt, So nearly almost impossible. I would go on. I'll stretch this a little bit further. I'd say it is impossible, lady. But there you go. She says the moon is more manageable. Well, that's like comparing apples and oranges, isn't it? we can't manage the sun, but we can manage the moon.
Yeah.
They're both probably identical, but one's more manageable than the other. Not
Yeah.
paddy too. Paddy too. She also called the moon a planet, which it just wasn't her day. I mean, when I was at junior school,
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
that calling the moon a planet was a no-no. You
Yeah.
just don't. It isn't.
Yeah.
You know. But you would have thought, that would have been one off. She had a bad day. People have a bad day. I can understand that.
Mm.
But apparently, according to the Gateway Pundit, where this little gem comes from, they ran the story.
Mm.
On an occasion at the Johnson Space Center, she lives by the side of the Johnson Space Center. By the way, her constituency is the side of the Johnson Space Center. She asked the people there if it was possible to take a photo of the flag planted on Mars by Neil Armstrong in 1969. Now, I've got to ask myself, if that's what she comes up with, how the hell did she get on the House Science Committee and the House Space Committee? Because these congressional people, these representatives, they get paid more if they go on a committee.
Mm.
And also, how on earth? She doesn't seem. It looks like the IQ shop was closed when they were giving them out.
Well, okay.
And I asked myself, how on earth did she manage to convince the people to vote for her in the first place? What does that tell you about the electorate?
Well,
Just throwing it out there. I'll let you deal with that aspect of the equation. Sorry for the hot potato,
well,
but try and be nice because I can't.
yeah, I'm seeing your disbelief. Yeah, I'm a little bit younger than you, Steve. You remembering I've been over time seeing this caliber of politicians slowly seep into our political systems and in the US political system. With regards to intelligence, I'll address the first thing, what you made. She went to Yale. I heard a comment this week about that somebody realised the other day is if you walk into an office and there's a Yale certificate on the wall, that's just a receipt to say they paid and went to Yale. It doesn't mean anything. It's not actually a certificate of competence or ability or anything else. I thought that was quite good.
A little bit like your till receipt from Tesco's.
Yeah, exactly. You paid for something. I'm not suggesting it's a paid for thing. I mean, it depends what she studied, and I don't know. And I'm not suggesting for a minute that people that earn a certificate anywhere haven't worked hard for it. I've always been told that when you get a certificate, it's a license to go and prove yourself, prove your abilities. Yeah, I've got some technical exams. I think reasonably well. I could prove I knew stuff. Sometimes when I'm talking here, I teach engineers who tell me I know what I'm talking about. Either I'm a good salesman or I generally do. Yeah, they would rip me apart. Now, as to our knowledge and things, yes, we have bad days. We say silly things. Even when we're talking sometimes, we process it in our minds. Yeah. And an honest politician goes, sorry, I missaid that. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds a bit like the vice president of the US speaking when she's done a couple of scientific talks. Yeah. If you don't have ability, please have a script writer or a speech writer who can put the words in your mouth for you. Now, when we are
the sad thing is, Mark, is that she might very well have had a script writer for her speech. Because normally these representatives, they get somebody to do it for them. But I digress.
Could have been an intern from Yale.
It might have been this. It might have been one of her children.
Yeah, well, okay, fair enough. Yeah. But it's like you said, I mean, our education, yeah, we know the moon is a satellite, that's not a planet. We talk that, you know, it's actually we're in a binary system with the moon, but yeah, I'll talk about science a bit later on that. Yeah, as regards to not being able to go on the sun, yeah, I think as a 4-year-old we kind of deduced that ourselves when we watched the program on telly about that one. Even we didn't even have to go to school to see the programs on TV. It's a hot place. Actually, it's a bit unusual because even now they don't know why the surface of the sun is actually hotter than the innards of the sun. Funny enough, but yeah, I digress again. And it's a great big nuclear explosion. Anyway,
Didn't you know that the hottest part of the flame is at the tip of the blue part of the flame?
Yeah, yeah,
and not necessarily at the bottom. I learned that in my physics. I think by chemistry with the Bunsen burners.
Yeah, yeah.
You can put your hand over the flame, right close to the Bunsen burner, and it won't burn you. But if you put it higher up at the tip of the blue flame, because it goes blue and then it goes to yellow, put it in the tip of the blue flame, it might be that's why the surface of the sun is hotter than the
well, you should
core.
think about it as it accumulates here, and that's it. And then that's us, if you like. I suppose the sort of almost of it all. But yeah, I mean, we saw a teacher do that. And I remember thinking at the time, some of my colleagues here, I wouldn't do that in front of some of my colleagues. Yeah, they're probably running for Parliament or as MPs now anyway. Ones that didn't manage to burn themselves. I mean, let's just face it, who becomes a politician? Somebody that can't really be anything else sometimes. Yeah, you don't need a qualification to be a politician. If I go into engineering, or if you go into a lot of professions, you at least need to prove you're capable.
Well, I imagine being a politician, you need to do that anyway, because you have to convince thousands and thousands of people to vote in you. And so, you know, I just don't know what this lady would have been saying to her electorate, and I just don't know. I don't know if she's from a region of the state of Texas, you know, where the people, you get these little pockets of communities of low IQ, you know, and I don't know if that's, could be part of she could be part of that part of Texas where they say, go get him, Floyd.
Yeah. Hang on, this is the American voting system we're talking about, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest. I'm not judging anything, yeah. I mean, okay.
Nor should we.
Yeah. I mean, it's democracy in process. I mean, if somebody's saying something you don't understand, so you could be the most intelligent guy in the world saying realities and facts, and if people don't understand you, you've got a problem. Yeah, if you understand somebody that tells you 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4, and that's all they're saying, you're probably going to vote for. Yeah, I mean, we will tend to vote for whomever we understand. I mean, I don't know where Texas. I mean, I don't know that much about the US. Only what I see on the media. I try and be as broad as that. I've visited California and Utah and Nevada, so I'm an authority on the US and how it always there. And I visited it at about 1994. So I absolutely know everything there. We all have an opinion. Now, unfortunately, you've got to remember she's doing this, and I think they do education for kids and everything else. Well, it is a bit worrying. I imagine that you've probably got a few science teachers standing around thinking, oh, really? She's saying this to children? How our next lesson is going to be very interesting. Yeah, thank you very much for your visiting governor or senator. Yes, or representative, not senator, representative. Yes. Oh, yeah, we'll have bad days, as you said. She evidently appears to be proving that she's absolutely clueless. I'm not going to be nice here. She has a history. I did hear something of it last week. You know, when something's so ridiculous, I just couldn't be bothered doing any more research. I saw on a surface level, and I think, oh, like you, maybe she said the wrong thing. There does appear to be a pattern emerging amongst the politicians in the US. I won't say the UK because I know what's going on there. Photo opportunities and everything else. I'm afraid the Americans have had comedies about their politicians as well. I'm just trying to think. One had Michael J. Fox in and things like this, where they are, how can I put it, where they are showing the politicians as not being the most clued up, sensible guys around who say ridiculous things and have even their advisors going into free fall, panicking. I think it's an unfortunate. If you were a member of the opposition, you'd be thinking, yes, this is an own goal. Unfortunately, you can't think like that.
Well, that's why I said that if politics wasn't involved with this last eclipse, it would have been done and dusted by now.
Yeah.
But of course, she said all these things, and it was published in various news outlets.
Yeah.
And her Twitter feed was receiving so much flack, you know, and it just kept on. I imagine it's still going on now, you know. You know, people telling her how dumb she can be, and some calling her Mystic Meg, you know, things like that. You know? So,
well,
I mean,
yeah. Oh well. I've got some books here about astronomy and space. So if you'd like to give me a call, I can educate her from here. I don't have a degree in astrophysics or anything.
I don't think she has either.